at this late hour. But welcome, everyone. Welcome to this well done how to maintain alignment with God's will as a Christian entrepreneur or creative. So, what I want you guys to do is let me know in the chat. Hey, Melissa. Hey, Maya. Let me know in the chat. I'm going to just walk through some types of founders that may be here today. And I want you to let me know in the chat which one resonates most with you. Okay. And so the first founder that I want to talk about is my life work founder. Okay. And my life work folks, y'all right now, your focus is just that, getting my life, getting my life together. Let me know if that's your focus right now. But essentially, you have personal goals that you are really seeking to build more discipline around. And that is why a lot of my material spoke with you, because you're like, I need to get my life together. Okay. So whether you are trying to make more money, improve your health, build a closer relationship with God, create more joy in your life, whatever it looks like, your biggest goal is to just improve your quality of life. And so you mostly know what needs to be done. It's just you are struggling a little bit with the discipline and the time management pieces that are necessary to help you do the things that need to get done. And so you really need help building more structure into your day-to-day life so that you can accomplish those goals that you have set for yourself and so that you can do it on a more consistent basis. Okay, let me know if the chat, if this resonates with you. Next up, we have our business work founder. So if you are here to focus on business work, let me know in the chat. Give me a biz work or give me a life work in the chat so I know where you're at, where this is hitting you. But if you are a business work founder, your focus right now is taking your business to its next level. And that may look like literally just getting it started, like we had our Jane of all trades, she's just getting started. Or you're just trying to do a better job of stewarding what you have already begun. Or you are looking to really like build your machine and to really build a foundation for that is sustainable for you, that is enjoyable for you, and that is in alignment with your joy as well as God's will for your life and for your business. Okay. All right. I'm seeing some business and life work. I'm seeing some both. Well, let's keep going. So my business work folks, you guys have a lot to get done. You have a lot on your plates, and a lot of days you are feeling distracted, you're feeling unfocused, you're feeling all over the place, and just like not sure what to do today. Like, you know, you have a billion things to do, but it's like, what do I do today? What do I do with this 20 minutes that I have to work on my business, right? And so this has led to a lot of days when you're just feeling worn out, just ending the day feeling like it wasn't as productive as you wanted it to be, and low key feeling frustrated with yourself because of how you're ending your days. And to be completely frank, you haven't been as consistent as you wanted to be. And it's really been nagging at you. It's been nagging at the back of your mind, and you feel like you are falling further and further behind. And so the biggest thing that you really need help with is just getting stuff done, right? And being consistent at getting things done. And so you are here looking more for structured accountability just to help you get more focused, productive, consistent with your time. Okay, yep, I see a mix of both, a mix of both. Okay, that's perfect because some of y'all are my combos. So let me know in the chat. If you are a mix of both, just give me a combo in the chat. If you're a combo founder, that means you are juggling both life and business. And I would imagine that a lot of us are doing that right now. Yep, I see a lot of yep, that's me combo. So you may be a full-time, life, you may be full-time in your business, or you may currently still be working full-time and running a business at the same time. And so some of us who are working full-time while running a business, many of us, if we're honest, our biggest goal is to leave your job as soon as humanly possible. And so you really need help installing systems in your business and in your life that help you get more disciplined, help you get more organized, help you get things done. Okay, yes, I see this. I see a big yes. I see that we have a lot of combo folks in the building, which is great. And, that's what I anticipated. You're somewhere in this spectrum of figuring out what you need to be doing for your life, what you need to be doing for your business work. So whether your focus is getting your life together, whether your focus is getting your business to its next level, or you are sort of a combination of both, really, at the end of the day, we're all here because we trying to hear well done, right? Your biggest goal in life, besides business, is really to do whatever it is God wants you to do and with your time on earth. And so when it's all said and done and you go meet God at the pearly gates, you hear those beautiful words, well done. And so you may be wondering how to align your life and business with God's will. How do you lead yourself consistently while pursuing entrepreneurship and managing all of the other amazing things God has given you in your life, and just become the best version of yourself while doing it? You are wondering about how to be the best steward over the talents God has given you, how to create systems to help you become more disciplined, achieve more consistency. You are also wondering how to get everything you want and feel called to do done before running out of time, because you feel like there's just so many things that you want to do in life, and yeah, you're just trying to get it all done. And you want to figure out how to also get it all done while enjoying your life as much as possible. So let me know in the chat if you agree. And today, my goal, like I said, is to show you exactly how to maintain alignment with God's will as a Christian founder, as you are juggling all of the things. And so just so y'all know that I am about this life, I do have some testimonials for y'all. This is one of my community members, Stephanie. She shared how the sessions that I have provided for her have gotten her so far along so quickly in her day that she's able to stop working and go walking. And y'all, when I tell you, this is probably one of my most treasured testimonials, because for Stephanie, her health had been a huge struggle. And just to be able to knock out work consistently allowed her to refocus and redirect her energies to her health. And that is everything, right? For those of us who are doing life and business work, when we can just find a magic medium between all of it, it is like chef's kiss, right? And so I am just so proud of that. Here's another testimonial from a founder that I have supported. She had an epiphany while doing one of my courses that her vision is given. She will impact the world for God's glory. It's given. Precious is not huge on reading or like doing courses and stuff, but she followed the system and she was so glad she did. She actually joined ahead of joining an actual coaching program, and the way that this set her up to really perform well in that program and really get out of it what she needed to get was priceless for her. So beautiful testimony. Mectis, she says, this course really built this discipline in me to say, Lord, what is it that you want? And then because I wait and hear from him and adjust, now there's no doubt in what I built. So it builds my confidence. I'm not running around. I've done the work. I've consulted with the Lord, and my confidence has shifted. And so this is really about these systems that I'm teaching you are really going to help you become more confident that you are doing the things that God is leading you to do, that you are making the steps that he is leading you to take, so that you can move, right? What else we got here? Oh yeah, my girl Vanetta. The community has truly helped me make the transition from employee to entrepreneur much more manageable. So Vanetta was making that transition, and she just needed someone to help her like start and give her the steps to follow, and also create a space that welcomed and nurtured her as she moved in this direction. And I love that she said, for the first time since I embarked on my entrepreneur journey, I don't feel frazzled, overwhelmed, or hopeless. Let me know in the chat if any of you are feeling frazzled, overwhelmed, or hopeless. I truly believe that this is going to support you in feeling less like that. But she said, my life and business feel much more organized since she joined, and she can't stop raving about it. And also, last one I have for you, Marlena's community came at the perfect timing for me. I've been in business for less than a year, but felt stagnant. And on top of that, it was challenging balancing her new entrepreneurship life with creating a routine, spending time with God, all of the things. So this community helped her to set a vision, get focused, get organized. And most importantly, I love how she ended this. I feel less alone as an entrepreneur. Y'all, that is the big part. Okay, yep. I see some overwhelmed in the chat. Awesome. Not awesome, but we will definitely help. Also just kind of exhausted. Yep, I get it, Channing. Awesome. Well, we will talk about some of these things and the systems that I'm teaching you are going to help you calm some of that overwhelm and help you. A lot of times the exhaustion comes from just being so busy in your brain. And so these are going to really help you create some more ease and relieve stress. So keep listening. I hope you stick around. So let me know in the chat. I want to hear from you guys real quick. What's one thing that you've been feeling a divine push to complete in the next 6 to 12 months? It may be a project, it may be just a personal health goal. It may be, girl, you need to start making some money like stat, like whatever it is, just tell me in the chat what's one thing you're feeling that divine push to complete. Let's see what we got. Lavanya said being more consistent in making money. Yep. Okay, awesome. Queen Ebony said transitioning to entrepreneurship, not overwhelmed, just unsure of what to do or how sometimes. Okay, absolutely. Yep. Faith said start putting myself out there and getting actual clients. I remember you saying that. Marquetta said stepping fully into speaking. Yes, girl, come on. We need to hear that. Hear that good word that you have to give the people. Chloe said launching my production company for narrative films. Ooh, we got another storyteller in the building. Adriana, you're working on finishing a book. Awesome, awesome. I see a couple folks finishing books. Yes, I'm an author, so I think I attract authors. So you guys are welcome here to push myself out of my comfort zone. Yes, let's go. We're going to do it. Siobhan got money goals. Natalie is working on a course. Okay, yes, you guys are definitely focused on getting the things done. So let me know also, what would finally starting that thing or completing that thing mean to you? Like, give me one word to describe what that would mean to you. Just one word to describe how it would feel. Marquetta said freedom. Oof. Girl. Yes, yes, yes. Channing said one word, obedient. Girl. Now, totality. Ooh, satisfied, obedient, defeating procrastination, energizing. Yes. This is what it feels like. This is what it feels like. Organization, fulfilled, purpose. I love it. I love it. Peace, said Maya. Awesome. Well, you know what? Y'all stick with me. Okay. And we're going to get closer to those feelings. Okay. So let's get into it. Today, I am going to be walking you through my Well Done method, and it's essentially my 3-part framework for helping Christian founders create and maintain alignment with God's will. And so, again, no matter what you drop in the chat, this is exactly what you're going to use to make it happen in partnership and in alignment with God, okay? So all of this is even better when we are in alignment with what God is calling us to do. So let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. So part 1 of the framework, again, this is the 3-part framework. Definitely feel free to take out some notes and just, you will probably want to take notes. So go ahead and do that. So part 1 of the framework is focus, okay? So let's talk a little bit about what I mean when I say focus, okay? Focus is about prioritizing, okay? So those of you who are feeling a little bit overwhelmed right now, that's what this is about, okay? There are an infinite number of things that we all want and we all want to do in life, but there is a finite amount of time that we have to do it all. And so having focus helps us choose what's most worthy of our most precious resource, which is time. Amen. And so right now you are trying to do too many things. I'm gonna just let you know off top, you're trying to do too much. All right. And the thing is, it's because you're too busy looking around at what everybody else is doing, right? And so you're trying to piece together a plan for what you think you're supposed to do by looking at everybody else. And it's got you feeling all types of cloudy, all types of distracted, stuck, and out of alignment. You are doing 11 million other things in your business while neglecting the one thing that God actually asked you to do, all right? And this is exactly how we waste our life, all right? One distraction at a time. That's all it takes. One distraction at a time. Megan said guilty. Listen, I am too, sis. I have been there. That is how all this was formed because I've been through some things, okay? So I can relate. So obviously what we need to be doing is less, okay? We need to be doing less. Instead of looking around at what everyone else is doing, you need to be looking within to see what God is telling you to do specifically you need to be taking time to just get clear on all of your most important goals, putting the rest on the back burner or taking them completely out the kitchen, off the stove, just not even necessary right now, right? And then you need to be making a plan, praying that thing all the way through so that you can feel confident to move in a specific direction, an aligned direction. Okay. Focus is what is going to help you stay in your lane, doing the things that you are supposed to be doing. All right. And one of the biggest myths that Christian founders tell themselves is that they need more clarity. And it's not that we don't need it, but a lot of times we think we need clarity when really we just need focus. And the thing with focus is that it requires us to make hard decisions, right? You got to take some stuff off your plate. You got to decide, like, this is more important than this. It just is what it is. But the more that you actually declutter the stuff that's on your plate that isn't as important as you think it is, the clearer you are going to become. All right. So focus is going to help you do a couple things. It's going to help you move with confidence. It's going to help you know the specific task you need to be completing on a daily basis. It's also going to help you spot and avoid distractions. This is huge, very, very huge. And it's also going to help you remember where to pick back up after life throws you a curveball. Anybody have had life recently? Let me know in the chat if life been lifing. Because those are the things. So when we have, Marquetta say yes, right? But when we have focus established, it allows you to sort of pick back up after the fact and get right back on into your system, right? And so I love this as one of my favorite like focus scriptures and examples of Jesus demonstrating focus to us. And it's when he had just finished performing a miracle. It says, after the people saw the sign Jesus performed, they began to say, surely this is the prophet to come into the world. And Jesus, knowing that they intended to come and make him king, withdrew to a mountain by himself. Like, what y'all not gonna do is make me king before it's time for me to be king, right? Jesus knew his mission. He knew the timing of that mission as well. He knew that he had to get his message out to all the surrounding towns of Israel. And eventually he had to go to the cross. He had to be raised up so that we could all have life. And literally becoming a king in that season was not in alignment with the plan. And so if he had let the people, right? And what are the people, his people in comparison to us are all of the noise, Instagram, everything that you are comparing yourself to, right? If he had let the people have what they wanted or what they were, pressuring him to do, he would have derailed his mission. And so, yeah, I mean, imagine if Jesus derailed his mission, like that would be really bad. So if we're going to maintain alignment with God's will for our lives and for our businesses in the midst of everything, people, circumstances, all the things that life throws at us, we absolutely have to have focus. Okay. And when we have it, just like Jesus, we're going to do exactly what God sent us here to do. Okay. We're going to get the job done and the people will be impacted and we're going to hear well done. Amen. Let me know if you feel me. Give me an amen in the chat if you're with me. So that's the focus piece of the framework. That's part number one. Okay. Part number two in the framework is systems. Let me know, drop a systems in the chat if you are like, give me the systems, please, and thanks. I think this gets many of us so excited to think about systems because systems are just, we know how helpful they are. And we also need to understand there are systems in place to support our alignment. And so let's talk about systems a little bit. Basically, systems are how you stay on top of the things that God has asked you to do, okay? And how you do that on a regular basis. And systems are lots of things. Systems are habits, they're tools, they're methods that you utilize on a consistent basis. And so right now, you're falling further and further behind where you want to be because you're either not consistently following through on the intentions that you set for yourself. Maybe you're not confident in the decisions that you're making, being God's will. So you're like second guessing and that is slowing yourself down. Maybe you're hiding from your calling. Because, stepping into that next level is some scary stuff, right? Super, super scary. Ask me how I know. All right. Or maybe you're procrastinating because you're just so overwhelmed, you're tired, you just don't know where to start, and you're just like, I'm just out here. Okay. Let me know if any of these resonate with you in the chat. Channing said, I need the focus to follow the systems. These are the facts, Channing. Okay. These are the facts. That's why it all works together. That is hilarious. Yeah. Okay. Melissa, I see you said second guessing. Vanya, definitely. Awesome. Awesome. Okay. Good, good, good. I'm glad this is resonating with you guys. So, what we need to be doing to set ourselves up for success is putting those systems in place that are going to help us instead to keep the promises that we are making to ourselves, create confidence that we are doing exactly what God told us to do. Okay. Kick imposter syndrome to the curb. All right. Let it have all of the seats and get the right work done on a daily basis. All right. And so I really want to encourage some of you guys who join because you're like, my discipline is trash. Like, I need to do better with my life. One thing that I have learned is that your lack of discipline is actually not always the problem. What really can become the problem is, essentially we all lack discipline when we don't have the necessary systems in place. Systems are how we activate discipline, right? We are human and we need help, okay? So you think you're not disciplined, but really none of us are or would be without systems, okay? And so, but when you have them systems in place, baby, like you cannot be stopped. And so, one of the most powerful systems that I love, 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 I'm gonna be talking about, we'll mention it again later in this meeting, but one of my favorite systems, biblical systems for ensuring that our steps are directed by God is right here in Proverbs 3:6. In all of your ways, acknowledge him and he will direct your paths. We're gonna talk about this a little bit later, but if you need help knowing that your steps are being directed by God, you have to acknowledge him. Acknowledge him with all the steps. And so we're going to talk about it. We're going to get super practical. So just stay with me, y'all. So focus is number one. Systems is number two. Okay. Last one is community. Let's talk about it. So those of us who are interested in maintaining alignment with God's will, you cannot do this in isolation. God literally made it so that we needed people in order to do the work that he has called us to do. Like think about it. He could have made it so that all we ever had to do was just go directly to him, get what we need, change the world, all of that. But instead, he actually built relationships into the fabric of our faith. He built discipleship and evangelism and mentorship, all of that into the fabric of our faith. So we have to do these things, right? The very essence of discipleship and fellowship and all of those things requires more than one person. And I believe it's because he wants us to lean on each other. And I believe he made it so that we have to lean on each other. Like there's just no other way to survive out here if we are not leaning on each other. And so right now you may be doing good on your own, but you may still be getting stuck with some things. So let's talk about it. Overthinking, overanalyzing everything. You may be getting stuck with that. Let me know in the chat if that's you. You may be feeling discouraged and just alone in the midst of life doing whatever it's doing, in the midst of a lot of unknowns, in the midst of long waiting periods. Can we talk about waiting periods a little bit? Woo. You may be battling comparison as well, just being influenced by what other people are doing or what they think. You may be getting stuck wrestling with anxiety around how it's all going to work out and just letting your own petty fears and excuses and, second guessing cause you to miss out on the things that actually bring you joy and bring you into alignment. And so if you are getting stuck in any of those areas, and I see some overthinking in there, some procrastination. Yep. Channy said procrastination is rooted in fear. Yes, yes, yes. Okay. So we all need to be building our squad. We all need to be building our squad. All right. And our squad is essentially that like-minded group of peers that you can trust who are going to help you trust God and stay grounded when life starts lifing. They're going to help you push through those mental blocks keeping you stuck. They're going to help you get out of your head and execute faster. they're going to help you feel less alone and less crazy when you have to make a decision that doesn't make sense to the world, but you got to do it because God told you to do it. All right. And most importantly, they're going to help you remember how dope you are. Okay. One of my favorite quotes about community is this one, and it's by author Simon Sinek. He said, courage, whether it's to lead, to leap, to go against the grain, comes from being surrounded by people who believe what you believe. And I just love that because for me, that tells me that community equals courage. Okay, let me hit y'all with this quick little gift. Ow, that's you, that's community. But yeah, community equals courage. Courage to boldly go after everything God gave you to do, everything He created you to be. Courage to fail, knowing that you're still going to be supported. Courage to be honest about where you are and what you're struggling with. Courage to share your ideas, your fears, just whatever you got going on without fear of judgment. Courage to do that crazy thing that God is pushing you to do because you are surrounded by people doing the same thing. All right. So community is huge. Amen. Community is huge, huge, huge. And if you're going to maintain alignment with God's will in your life and in your business, you're going to need community. All right. So again, focus, systems, and community are the main things that you are going to need. And that is how you are going to achieve consistent alignment with God's will. We're not talking about just alignment one time, right? We're talking about staying in alignment. And so let's talk about one more thing, though, that you are going to need to have. And that is essentially the right community. All right. We're not just talking about any community because the wrong community will have you out here struggling. Okay. You could have all of the parts of the framework, and with the wrong community in place, it can really throw you off. All right. Have any of y'all been in some wrong communities in your journey? I know I have. And this is no shade to whatever those communities were, but they just weren't right for you. Obviously, no community is perfect because every community is made up of imperfect people. But you are going to need a community that supports your identity as a believer and isn't pouring toxic beliefs, toxic behaviors, mindsets, all that junk of the world, Egypt, into your psyche 24/7. All right. Those are the things that are going to work against your goal of consistent alignment with God's will. Okay. So it is very, very important that we have not just community, all right, but the right community. Okay. And so if you do not have these three things in place, it's going to be very difficult for you to maintain alignment. And if you are missing just one of the pieces, it's also going to be virtually impossible for you to maintain alignment. And so let's talk about it, right? If you only have one or two of the three, it's really like having a stool that only has two legs. And if you sit on it, you're going to fall off because you need all three legs to support it. Okay. So here is just a visual for that, right? This is the stool of consistent alignment, and we need all three of these legs to maintain it. And so let's say that you have focus and systems, but you don't have community. The problem with that is you may get a whole lot done, right? You got the focus, you got the systems in place, but y'all know that saying that says we can move faster alone, but further together. Many times we're alone and we're not able to go as far, and we end up moving slower too. So you may get a lot accomplished, but it's going to take you way longer than you want it to take. All right. So it's very, very important if you want to cover more ground in less time to have that community piece as well. So you may have community and focus, but you don't have systems. Okay. And so this is also a hot mess because systems are how you maintain efficiency. All right. So if you don't have those systems, this is a recipe for poor stewardship. All right. You'll be supported, you'll be focused, but still not officially getting things done. And stewardship is so important in terms of our alignment and our faithfulness toward God. We have to steward our resources well. And so this equation is going to lead you to a lot of wasted time, a lot of wasted energy, wasted money, okay, opportunities, all of that. And they would have been stewarded better if you had had those systems in place. And last but not least, if you have systems but no community, you are going to, if you have systems and community, but no focus. There we go. Sorry, y'all got to do a little shift. There we go. You're going to accomplish a lot of goals, but they may not be the goals that God gave you to accomplish, right? Y'all know good goals versus God goals, right? Good things versus God things. Um, yeah, one of the worst things that you can do is really spend your most precious resource, again, your time on earth, your life, all right, in service of the thing that you really weren't put here to do. Okay, so if you don't want to die with your God given calling never having been achieved, you have to have that focus in place as well. All right, so again, it's all about focus, systems, and community in order to help us maintain alignment with God's will. And so, you know, some of you guys, we've talked about where you are. Many times Christian founders come to me when they are stuck right at the start. And so several of you are here today and are stuck at the start. Just getting started, just wanting to, get off on a good foot, start on a right track, right? And so you just want support to help you make sure that you are starting where you need to start. All right. And so you may be in your early stages of pursuing your vision that you got from God, and you're just stuck because, again, you're clear on God has shown you something or kind of, but you just want to make sure whatever you build stays in alignment. And you don't know what steps to take in order to make sure that that happens. And so a lot of us, a lot of Christian founders come to me at that point. And then I have another group of Christian founders who come to me when they are not at the start, but they're just trying to find their way back to alignment. Okay. And y'all, I didn't explain, but this bar in the middle represents alignment with God's will. Okay. And so you may be stuck trying to make sure you start out right, or you may be stuck because you done got way off track and you are trying to find your way back. All right. You had, you were in the wrong community, right? You were in a community that was just emphasizing a lot of worldly ways that just weren't in alignment with how God was leading you. And that just threw you off, right? Because we be trying to be out here getting the business systems in place. And a lot of times getting involved in the wrong community kind of throws things off track if you are getting those mindsets ingrained in you that are not in alignment. Okay. And so if you are in this bucket, you know that you need help, but you're trying to find the right community and the right support system. And you may just be too tired to even think about trying to find a community because you're just tired. Like, I don't even want to deal with y'all anymore. I'm gonna just figure it out on my own. But the thing is, if you're trying to figure it out on your own, a lot of times that's still slowing you down because you're still alone. You don't have that community in place. So it's like you need the community. But again, you have to have the right one. So our goal is to really get you and to keep you in consistent alignment, right? From start to finish, you are just moving consistently, one foot in front of the other in alignment with what God is calling you to do. If you veer just a little bit, you get right back in there because you are working the systems, okay? You're working the framework, okay? So that's what we're here to talk about, is the framework. We're here to talk about how to maintain alignment with God's will as a Christian founder or creative. So let's dive into it. Let's talk about how exactly to maintain alignment with God's will as a Christian founder, because I really want to give you guys more than just the fluff. I really want to give you, and not that this was fluff, because we could probably stop here, but I want to give you guys some more practical information about how this looks, okay, in real life. So let's get into it. The reality is that the first thing you need to realize is that maintaining alignment with God's will is less about actually knowing his will, and it's more about building alignment habits. Okay, give me a habits in the chat if you feel me on habits. Okay, it's really about creating alignment habits. Alignment habits are the things that are going to help you intentionally invite God into your life and into your business on a daily basis. And the more that you do that, that's how you're staying connected to God, right? You're going beyond just a regular prayer life, and you are inviting him into the specific life and business work that you are working on. And the more that you do that consistently, using those alignment habits, that is how aligned you're going to be. And so to sort of illustrate this, I love this scripture in John 15, where Jesus is talking about how essentially he is the vine and we are the branches. And if we live in union with him as our source, fruitfulness will stream from within us. But when you live separated from me, you are powerless. But when your lives bear abundant fruit, you demonstrate that you are my mature disciples who glorify my Father. And so I share this, right? Because the way that we maintain alignment happens effortlessly as long as we stay connected to the vine, right? That is our power source. The vine is our power source. So again, we have to be working these alignment habits to stay and maintain that connection. And if you can just do that, if you can just do that, you're going to be fine. You're going to maintain all the alignment that needs to be maintained. But it's so key, right? That connection with God, that consistent connection with God is so, so key and so, so necessary. So we're going to get a little bit, just go a little bit deeper. We're almost done, but we're just going to go a little bit deeper. So again, make sure you're taking notes. But we're going to talk about how this framework is used to really help you and give you those practical alignment habits that you really need in order to really partner with God and stay connected to God so that you are just bearing all of the fruit, okay? Being fruitful out here and multiplying. So if you are ready to go a little bit deeper, just give me a D for deeper in the chat if you guys are ready. So let's just get really real, all right? We all have 12 months every year to do whatever the work is that God has given us to do, all right? This is your year. You got 12 months to do that thing, all right? Now, many of us with the habits that we currently have in place, we may be, consistent for 4 out of 12 of those months, okay? Maybe January, the holidays just got over, but February got here and you're like, okay, I'm ready. Let's get to it. You kept that going for March, fell off a little bit in April and pretty much until through the end of the summer, because like I got to be outside anyway. And you got right back into it in September and October. And then the holidays hit and we just weren't consistent, right? So this is just an example. You rate yourself, right? If you were to say on a scale of 1 to 12, how many consistent months that you have, how many alignment habit months that you have on a consistent basis, you can kind of rate yourself. But we're going to go based on 4 months of consistency annually. All right. And so what that looks like after 3 years, right? Each one of these represents a year of 4 months of consistency, right? And so 4 times 3 is 12 months, which is 1 year's worth of progress made on your 3-year goals. So I don't know if any of you have 3-year goals, if you have 5-year goals, 10-year goals, you can do the math. But if you are only being consistent 4 months out of the year, you are only getting to about a year's worth of progress on your 3-year goals. So it's cute to have the goals, like set the goals by all means. But the reality is, if you are not having a successful, consistent month, you are not making that progress that you really need to make on those 3-year goals. Okay. Yep. We did. We just eased right on into the gathering. Deidreana said it just snatched me up. I'm sorry, y'all. Like, it's not going to be too much harder. But we're going to talk. We got to talk about this. All right. So again, 4 months of consistency annually. Imagine if you had 12 months of consistency annually. Like, just imagine, what does that look like? Again, doing the math. It's just the math. Like, it's very simple. It's very straightforward. You're consistent every month. You're going to hit those goals on time. Okay. Yes. Daily gut check. Hey, I can send y'all screenshots. Y'all will get the recording. So definitely feel free to take all the screenshots that you need. But that's just the net, that just is what it is. All right. So the truth of the matter is, yeah, let me know if I'm making this plain or not. Like, I mean, hopefully y'all see what I'm saying. It's very, very simple. But essentially, the more consistent you are with your months, the further along you're going to get in the work that God is giving you to do. All right. And more consistent months are made up of more consistent days. Okay. Hopefully this is very simple to you guys, right? This is not rocket science, but the more days that you win, the more months that you win, the more consistency you have, the further along you are getting on your goals. Okay. Give me a G for goals if you guys are still with me. She wrote it down. Y'all are cracking me up. Okay. You guys are still with me. All right. So the question becomes, right? How do I create more consistent days? How do we do that? Like, help. I need help. Let me know in the chat if you need help. Give me a help in the chat. if you need help creating more consistent days. Good. I see some helps. I see some helps. Well, we got you. I got you on all the help. So first things first, you got to use that framework, baby. Framework. So let's talk about how to actually use this framework. Let's talk about how to really put it into action. Okay. Starting with focus. All right. We talked about how important focus is. To really boil it down, long-term focus creates short-term goals. If you are writing anything down about focus, write that sentence down. Long-term focus creates short-term focus. Okay. And the reason that you're not focused daily is because you haven't gotten focused on what you truly want long-term. You have not created the long-term focus necessary to help you create the daily focus that you need. Okay. Yes, write that down. Write that down. But the good news is, once you do finally decide and are very specific, all right, we're not talking vague long-term goals. We're talking like that thing is tangible, all right? Once you decide what you want long-term, it becomes easier to decide what to work on daily to get yourself there. And when you know what to work on daily, that leads to a consistent day, right? Which leads to consistent months, all of the above, right? So it also becomes a lot easier to do the work because you're not spending half the time that you have available trying to figure out what to even work on, right? Because you've already set that tone already by setting your long-term goals in place, all right? Or at least you know the general vicinity of where you're trying to go instead of like feeling like you're waking up, starting from scratch every single day, not sure what to work on, all right? And so long-term focus not only creates daily focus, but it also creates daily motivation. Daily motivation, all right? Our difficulty a lot of times is we're not connecting the work we're doing today with why this matters to me. Like, why does this actually matter? What is this taking me to? Okay. Oh, see you later, Faith. We'll send out the recording, right? But you're not connecting the work you're doing now with something tangible in your future that truly, truly matters to you, that touches a nerve in your heart, okay? And it becomes easier when you haven't made that connection to allow laziness, procrastination, fear, any type of distraction just come in and just steal your time because it doesn't seem as important to you. That time doesn't seem as important to you because you haven't given it that weight. All right. So focus again is so important. And you have to create that long-term focus if we're going to create that daily focus and that daily motivation. And so just to give y'all an example, I put Marjorie up here because this is an example of one of my long-term goals. Okay. One of my long-term goals is to be a baddie well into my old age. And Marjorie's not that old, right? I don't even think she's 60 yet, but y'all get what I'm saying. But having a very clear picture of what I want my body to look like when I'm well into old age allows me to make it make sense when I got to get up and do the exercise that I hate to do. Okay. Because for me, it's not about losing weight or any of that. It's really about creating a lifestyle of health and wellness and a body that I am very happy of and out here flaunting when the hair is gray and all of that. Okay. We're looking snatched. We're looking bad out here in these streets. So that's just to give you an example, make it real. Okay. Yeah. Making the connection. I said fight in the air. So important. So that is what you need to know about focus. All right. The next thing you need to understand is with systems. All right. We talked about our alignment habits. And if you're going to create those alignment habits, you're going to need alignment systems. And so I told y'all I was going to give y'all the 3 core systems that you need in order to become more focused, consistent, and productive in the work that God has called you to do. Not only for the rest of this year, but always. All right. These are the 3 core systems I recommend. And so again, take notes, write these down so you know what they involve. So the first system you need in place is a God-centered decision-making system. Okay. I done already told y'all I was coming back to this scripture because y'all, it has just become such a guidepost for me that if I acknowledge God in all of my ways, he will direct my path. That's all I got to do. All I got to do is acknowledge him and he'll direct my path. That means I may still not know where I'm going or what I'm supposed to do, but if I've acknowledged him, he's true to his word and he's going to direct my path. The problem is, many of us are making decisions without actually acknowledging God, right? We have created our focus. We've identified those long-term goals, and then we done went right on into planning, right? You haven't really prayed about it. And if you've prayed about it, you haven't given him time to like actually speak to you about the thing. And you just been bulldozing ahead on the things. And let me know in the chat if you're a bulldozer, let me know. I have been a bulldozer too. But that can be a problem because we haven't implemented a God-centered decision-making system. You may have a decision-making system, but you may not be involving God in it. And that's where you're messing up. Brenda the bulldozer for sure. I see a lot of bulldozers in the building. Yes. Yep. And so it's so necessary this is a way of maintaining that connection that I talked about, right? So that you can just produce the fruit. That is how you do it. And so you have to implement a God-centered decision-making system where you are really checking in with God consistently, intentionally, so that you can create the confidence that you need to know that you're doing the work that he has given you to do, and to know that you have acknowledged him and that he will lead you where you need to go. So really, it's super simple. Like, it's not that serious. It's really just about, and I have, again, you guys will have access to all of my templates and things if you stick around, but if you don't take anything else from this training, I just want to give you a specific example for how you can use this. And really, it's just, if you take some time after this training to decide what your long-term goals are, I challenge you to just write those things down and then literally present them to him according to that Proverbs 3:5 scripture. God, these are my goals. I'm acknowledging you in them, and I trust that you will direct my paths. And I'm giving you one day, just give him at least a day before you bulldoze ahead on that thing, just in case he has thoughts about your plans, okay? Which normally he has thoughts, okay? So I really want you guys, I hope that is making it like plain for you guys of how you can implement this. And there's more ways that you can do this, but that is just a very simple way of how this looks in your life. So the second system you're going to need is a daily execution system, all right? And what that is basically the method that you're using to execute tasks on a daily basis. So, it's really about, this method is how you create focus, get rid of distractions, get organized, and do the things, okay? Now, obviously, this is a lot easier when you've done the long-term focus work, but no matter what, we all need a daily execution system because this is how we get stuff done. Many of you are functioning without one, and it's the main reason why you feel all over the place, because you just don't have anything to like step into each day to know like, okay, this is what I'm doing today. This is how it's going to work. You need that daily execution system in place. And so some examples of those are, co-working, time blocking, batching days, using a Pomodoro method to get work done. Like, all of us have different ways to execute on a daily basis, but you need to have one, and an intentional one, set in place in order to maintain that alignment. All right. This is a very important alignment habit. All right. Next up is your accountability system. And you'll notice I said an effective accountability system, because I'm not talking about, oh, we accountability partners. We're not talking about cute accountability partners here. We're talking about like, no, y'all are seriously meeting on a weekly basis to discuss the specific goals that you had for last week and this week and to move forward, okay? And that is what an effective accountability system is going to look like. And so we know, I think it was the American Society for, do I still have it up? I don't think I have it up, but there is a very famous quote about this that essentially says, when you set a goal for yourself, you increase your chances of achieving that versus not writing it down at all. And then when you add an accountability partner where you're actually meeting weekly, you increase your chances of actually achieving that thing, I think 90%. And so again, we're not talking about cute accountability partners like, oh, we're in the Facebook group and, we're accountability partners. No, we're talking about real effective and actual accountability system, okay? And so your struggle to really follow through on your plans really has less to do with you just being inconsistent and undisciplined, and it's really just because you just don't have an accountability system. And again, like we've discussed, you are human. You have to build systems to support yourself, to do the work. And without an effective accountability system in place, you are literally setting yourself up for failure most of the time, okay? And you are very likely to remain inconsistent if you continue to try to do it on your own without accountability. So again, when we're talking about an example of that, this is a weekly meeting on Zoom, or it is a weekly text check-in or something where you have identified what your goals were for that week and you are reporting back on how it went at bare minimum, okay? Bare minimum. And you need to be doing that with someone who understands and honors that system and sees it as important as you do so that it actually works, okay? So those are the 3 systems. Give me a 3 in the chat if you are clear on the 3 systems in place. Good. Yes. Okay. Awesome. 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 So let's keep moving. Last thing, I told you guys the #1 tool that you needed in order to get unstuck faster, that I would tell you that, and that is essentially community. And guys, this is another thing I really just want you to take with you because it is so powerful. But again, remember, we're talking about how do we create more consistent days, right? How do we do that? Okay. How do we have that 12 months of consistency instead of, the 4 months that we saw? And a lot of times, let me know in the chat, how many of y'all have ever gotten stuck spiraling? Give me a spiral in the chat. If you have ever been stuck spiraling in your head about something and you were in that spiral for multiple hours, maybe multiple days, maybe even multiple weeks, just write spiral in the chat or whatever comes to your spirit. Yeah. Maybe you've been afraid, maybe you've just been in indecision, maybe you've been unclear, just trying to, or maybe you've been wrestling with imposter syndrome, your own laziness, right? Maybe you had a mental health trigger, like, okay, I see a lot of spiraling, dark nights of the soul. Yes, so like, I have been there too. I still deal with this, all right? And community is my way out of that. I have found that this can be one of the sneakiest productivity killers that is so much more avoidable than we realize, y'all, like so much more avoidable. And the way that we avoid it is super duper simple, y'all. Like when you get stuck, share what you're struggling with someone else. Literally talk to someone about it. Whether that is you have your accountability group and you are sending them a message. I have the most amazing accountability mastermind community that I am able to just share things and get out of my head a little bit and hear some outside perspectives on it. And I guarantee y'all, like I said, this is my #1 method for getting unstuck faster. I can't explain how many times I have used this tool and been able to just snap back into it, right? Snap out of the spiral, snap into what I need to be doing, okay? And get back on that path of that consistent productivity so I can make my 12 months, okay? And one thing that is I think we don't realize this, is that God has placed our puzzle pieces often not inside of us, but inside of other people. All right. And again, we talked about how God does that because he wants us to connect with other people. So the thing that you may need and the reason you're stuck, the answer may not even be inside you. He's waiting on you to talk to someone else and he's got a word for you in their mouth. But if you are too busy in your little silo, not telling anybody what you got going on, you're going to miss out. Okay. So this is so, so important. So, so necessary. And it's so necessary, again, that you have the right community. All right. And it's not just the right community. Like you can't just join a community and then all your problems are solved. You're going to have to do work, right? You're going to have to tap in intentionally. All right. If you don't actually use the community God has provided to you, you are going to be missing out. All right. The community is a wealth of resources, but if you are not tapping in, you are not going to be achieving the benefit. All right. Amen. 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 Okay. So remember, guys, working these steps is truly an ongoing process. Alignment is not something that we arrive at. It's something that we walk in. All right. You walk in alignment. And I have shown you the systems for how to walk in it. All right. And truly, alignment with God's will is really just about consistently doing the things that he told you to do. That's it. And hopefully you guys give me a yes in the chat if you have seen how to consistently do the things God has told you to do today. Give me a yes in the chat. Okay, it's very simple. I mean, this is not rocket science, but hopefully you guys are getting this. And so, like I said, there's levels to this and I love that. And so I have named these, this is my little thing, but this is just to give you a sense. So the first level is that foundation level. That's when you really you have started to build your systems, put them in place, and you started practicing them. You've installed them into your life. You've installed them into how you do things. And you are just like practicing. It's like a ribbon cutting ceremony almost, like the foundation is done. All right. Next up, you have flow. And flow is so beautiful because this is when the phases have gone from manual to automatic, right? This is when instead of having to consciously remember to do a thing, it's just happening naturally because it's becoming a habit. So maybe you used to bulldoze ahead immediately as soon as you got an idea, right? And end up wasting all the resources and stuff in the process. And now you just naturally and immediately talk to God, seek God about it, and you always feel more confident about the steps that you're taking. Maybe you used to work through all of your problems and questions in your head, but now you're tapping into community just naturally. Spiral, let me tap into my community, right? It's becoming a reflex for you, right? That is what flow looks like. Maybe you used to keep trying to make old systems work for yourself, but now you realize, oh, they're not serving me anymore. I need to make the changes and make an adjustment so that they are more aligned with where I am right now. Okay. And the last level, y'all, is faithful. Okay. Give me a faithful in the chat if y'all want to become faithful. This is where you have now demonstrated a track record of consistently doing the thing God told you to do for those 12 months, y'all. We talked about the 12 months. We want to be consistent, y'all. All right. Yes, I see the faithfuls. So consistently working those talents, working those systems, even having like momentary lapses, right? We all have them. Life does what it does, right? But then you're getting right back on the horse and jumping back in and keeping going, right? You take your time now. I mean, we can have a whole nother webinar to talk about rest and Sabbathing and all of that, but we're not going to do that right now. So I'm not advocating just round the clock working, but I am advocating for consistency that is possible to happen for 12 months. I've seen it happen in my own life. And so I love some of these scriptures about faithfulness. And this is what, when we talk about hearing well done, this is what God is saying. You've been faithful. Well done. And when we faithful, we abound with blessings, right? That's what the words say. And Jesus said, who is that faithful and wise steward, right? Blessed is that servant. Again, when you are faithful, it leads to blessings. So we want all of that. Okay, we want all of that. Okay, look at you being all faithful like. This is where you want to be. So